That is the castle that is on the front of Cradle and Filth's 1994 album Dusk in Her Embrace. It is in actuality Craighall Castle, which is where I live. Well, I don't live in the castle, but it is just outside town where I stay, so how cool is that? It has a lot of really cool legends and stories of its own, so maybe I will share them with you one day. But yeah, today it is the day after Beltane, after May Day, and hence I am wearing my flower crown, and I just wanted to chat a little bit about things I have been thinking about this spring as a creative person. And I'm sorry this vlog is going to be all over the place, like you're going to see clips from March, April, obviously today is the 2nd of May, and yeah, I think it's going to be a little bit all over the place, but yeah, hopefully you won't mind. I think I'm going to move a little bit further away from the river, somewhere it's more sheltered, so you can hopefully hear me properly. Not really planned what I'm going to say, so I hope this doesn't sound too random. Basically, I think I referred to it before, I've not had the best autumn of literature mentally and creatively as well. It felt very blocked, and like everything I try to do is a struggle when I'm being given up easily, and especially with my novel, I've basically been really down on myself, and I've been trying to pinpoint why that is, and I basically don't want to feel that way anyone's heaviness and fatally blocked. And so I was thinking a lot about why I feel that way, and I was trying to come up with some rules for living as a creative person. And I don't really like the word rules. I can't think of the more big word in there. Anyway, I came up with my personal rules for living as a creative person, and I get on 4 things that have really helped me get out of this rut that I'm in. I heard one creative person I follow online talk about their insecure, depressive rut that they fall into, and I think that sums up my autumn with this feeling of insecurity about what I'm trying to create, or am I being able to create, and doubting that I have the skills to bring about my creative visions, and just feeling depressed basically because I'm not able to get a move on with the things that really matter to me, and feeling stuck, and I think constant negative self-talk to be really weighing down my spirit. So anyway, onto these rules. So the first thing I thought of when it came to rules for living was attention, and what things am I giving my attention to every day, and how is that affecting my mental state and my ability to not like create work, but to believe that I can create things I want to create. I think especially in today's fast-paced world, and with social media, TikTok, and AI art, it's really easy to give your attention over to inactivity and with these fast, quickly things that aren't actually nourishing us in the long run. And I found that I was spending a lot of time doom scrolling, even though I've been off Instagram for 6 months now. Still found that I was scrolling substack a lot, which, although a lot of people say it's healthier than Instagram, I think it's still another platform where you're constantly comparing yourself with other work, especially if you're the writer and seeking to know who I should be this type of why actually want to start to think about to market yourself more than just notes all the time and just become another stick to yourself. But still doing that a lot, especially with the art of intro. And I've also been giving my attention 2 months to negative thoughts at my bad abilities, but my brain sees some of my bad abilities, or channels up useless, the reason you're capable, or the stuff, all around rubbish person. And so I thought, well, that's got to stop. I honestly feel that the most powerful tool we have nowadays is our attention and the ability to choose to put it. I found that recently now sit down to write my novel, it doesn't matter if I give myself an hour, 2 hours, or the whole morning just sitting down. I'm primarily getting out done. My attention span is so limited. And it gets because I'm not aiding, training my brain to look but dominant and expand. A novel is a long haul project and it's hard, and I think you almost need to force your brain to go through that uncomfortableness of telling you something that's hard. And then I got stuck in a bit of my novel and said my brain had just said by it, like it pulled up one time or start struggling with my phone. So I didn't want to deal with the difficult things. And then also because I've been giving my attention to all of this negative self-talk, I think subconsciously I was looking that I didn't do it anyway, so what was the point in even trying? So I started to look at where I was putting my attention and how that was affecting my focus. And I think there's direct correlation to who you put your attention and how much you're able to focus. And because your focus is a finite resource, so giving your attention to what dopamine by scrolling social media and wanting to start create work, or you're getting your attention the negative thoughts. All these things are going to distract your focus. Whereas you give your attention fully to the thing that you're trying to create, or things that are going to give inspiration, whether that's you like to the poet by someone who's just throwing your phone. Our attention is powerful. There's so many things that want your attention. That's why they want non-society and not to explore it. Because if they've got your attention, they've got access to your bank account, how you feel about yourself, and yes, I know it's very dark, but it's that got to be very careful and very good with attention and see it's something precious. You're actually controlling over what you think your attention to do. I think that's what's so frustrating about this is that none of the things that I am doom scrolling matter to me. I could be immerse in my creativity and writing diary entries, novels, and just spending time in nature without being bombarded by other people's thoughts and things. So that was my biggest rule for living, is to protect my attention and be discerning of what I give my attention to.
Yeah, your mind can definitely play tricks on you. I've also found throughout life people will try to change your mind. People have definitely tried to change my mind. Sometimes subtly, other times with force. But underneath it all, I feel how I feel. It's 27 minutes past midnight, and the oyster catcher and her mate have just flown down the high street. Every time I hear them, I want to capture the moment somehow. They've got this frail scream, and it feels more real to me than the car engine that's rumbling under my window or the lurid flicker of the pet shop lights against my bedroom wall. I hear them nearly every night, but they've been making this midnight journey of theirs before there was a high street. And I feel like there's a part of me that's been listening since then too. Yes, there are things that I never feel regret over. Working on my novel, writing in my diary, listening to music, practicing guitar, reading all morning, spending a whole evening drawing, a day in nature, just chatting or spending time with people I care about, and being in the water. It's hard to hold on to heavy feelings when you're in water, and the moment I leave I always want to rush straight back in. I feel alive when I'm in motion with the world, driving west, sky-clad in the sea. I'm not a writer, but a blank page that life writes its runes on. You can't face what you feel, so you turn to stone. But one day it will be a feeling that cracks you open. Then you'll trickle out, drip by drip. Your yolk will fuse with the earth's bloodstream. Sometimes I come up to the surface and catch how dramatic I sound, like, get a grip. But also feel everything. Feel everything deeply and don't stop feeling. Because if you're one of those people that's born with big dramatic feelings, then there's really no stopping it. You've just got to embrace it. Hello, I feel like it's been ages since I have just turned on the camera and had a wee chat with yous. I meant to get this welcoming spring vlog out for the end of March, early April, but obviously it hasn't worked out like that, but I don't think that matters too much because it's only just started to feel like spring. I have a cup of tea in my cute little vintage mug, and I thought I would just have a wee blather with you about books that I've been reading. I also want to share some vintage purchases that I scored recently. Don't know if anyone else is the same, but I love the rush of finding something second-hand online. I very rarely buy things new. I love buying vintage and second-hand, so yeah, I do have a little bit of a vintage habit. First of all, book-wise, I have to admit that I've been in a bit of a reading slump the past couple of months, probably since end of February, so I've not read that much. And I think the reason for that is my current read, Paradise Lost by John Milton. And I have had this on my shelf for years since uni. Always meant to read it and felt a little bit intimidated by it. And now that I have started reading it, I'm finding I'm not so much reading it as purely absorbing it, so a lot of it is going over my head, especially the biblical names and references. A lot of the imagery and descriptions and the poetry in this is really, really cool, but it is going over my head a bit. I feel like this would be a good book club read, especially read it with someone who really knows it inside out and can offer some deeper insights into what's going on. So Paradise Lost, if you don't know, is about the fall of man, the banishment of Adam and Eve from the Garden of Eden. It's about treachery, rebellion, morality, sin. So it's a really meaty read, and one of the main reasons that I always wanted to read it is because John Milton, I think, accidentally created a very charismatic anti-hero in Satan, which was quite shocking at the time. I have to admit that I'm slogging my way through this, but I don't want to pick up another book because I know if I do that, then I will not go back to this. I don't know if I ever gave my final thoughts on Moon Tiger by Penelope Lively, but I loved this book. I think Penelope Lively is an incredibly evocative writer, and Moon Tiger is about a writer named Claudia she was a reporter during the Second World War in Africa. At the start of the novel, she is dying in hospital, and she's sifting back through her memories, and you meet her ex-lovers and her brother Gordon, who she has quite a strange relationship with. This novel's definitely quite shocking in parts. Penelope Lively really conveys how a person can have, especially once they reach, those later stages in life, they will have a rich well of experiences and feelings and emotions that you will only ever see the surface of. And I think particularly this generation that were more stiff upper lip, you're never going to see that inner world that they maybe don't even allow themselves to fully feel it. The descriptions are incredible, the imagery is beautiful, and I would highly recommend this book. The other book that I've been picking up is this book of poetry by George Mackay Brown. He's an Arcadian poet. I've always found that his poems have this dark, ritualistic atmosphere, but they're also very sparse, and I think that makes the striking images stand out all the more. I find that if I have a day where I've got a bit of writer's block and I'm struggling to get going, I'll read a few of these poems and it sparks something in my imagination. I always come back to his writing. He's written novels as well and a lot of poetry, so if you haven't heard of George Mackay Brown, then I would really recommend that you check him out. Also, I seem to be enjoying the black cover and red font at the minute. They're beautiful. I'm never very good at getting the camera straight. I think that's good enough. Okay, I've been doing a bit of a spring clean and getting rid of old clothes and things that don't feel like me anymore. And to me that means that I can now buy new things to fill those gaps. So, but in a very, I'm going to say in a non-consumerist way. This is obviously consumerist, but I like to, as I said, buy things secondhand, and I feel like I get a real rush from finding things that I want but cheaper than you could buy it new. So yeah, I just wanted to show off some of my vintage purchases. Take a sip of tea first. I have to say that when it comes to style, the thing that always lets me down is my shoes. Like the amount of times I have gone out with a really cool outfit but the shoes just completely let it down, particularly in a formal wear sense. So say if I was going to a wedding or something like that, I sometimes cringe looking back at photos of like weddings and graduations, and I put so much effort into the rest of the outfit and then I just totally fell at the final hurdle. So I was really excited when I found these gorgeous sandals on Vinted. They're Shelleys, vintage Shelleys from the 90s, real leather. They're so pretty. I love the little floral detail. I feel I unlocked a new level of womanhood when I bought these shoes. These only cost £9, so total steal. That's why I love buying things on Vinted, because if you were to buy something like that new, this was inspired by, I found my dream shoe, and of course it was a Valentino shoe, which was hundreds and hundreds of pounds. And then I did just a little research on Vinted, and I found this for £9, and I almost love it more because I got it for such a steal. This is my other £9 find, which you've seen so often now. It's my big granddad jumper, which I've been wearing all winter. I'm still wearing now in the spring because it's still cold in Scotland. I love this. It's like one of those so ugly, it's beautiful kind of pieces of clothing. It reminds me of like grunge era clothing. I could picture Kurt Cobain wearing something like this. I'm not actually a big Nirvana fan, but I like the vibe. More of an Alice in Chains girl. But yeah, this sort of grungy granddad jumper I've been loving. I actually got this a while ago. I wore this to my cousin's wedding with those shoes. I don't know if you'll be able to see it that well on camera. It's a long lilac fairy dress and it's got a sort of hanky hem. It's very floaty and whimsical. It's got this really dainty floral pattern. I just feel like a wee fairy when I wear this. I like to feel a certain way when I'm wearing clothes, whether it's fairy-esque, whimsical, feminine, or sometimes in more of a gothic mood. I think my baseline is whimsical fairy. Oh yeah, my nightgown I found on Vinted. This was a Powell Craft nightie that I'd been looking at for ages. I think it's 50 quid, 50, 60 quid. I found it on Vinted for 20 quid. You can wear it on the shoulders, off the shoulders. I need to get a little slip dress for it though so I can wear it out and about because it's like a tad see-through. I just feel like a gothic heroine when I wear this, and for that reason I think my next purchase should be a vintage candelabra so I can complete the look. So that's all my little whimsical, beautiful things that I've been enjoying recently. Things like that, they can add a lot to your day if you're wearing a pretty pair of earrings or a nice dress, or you're drinking your tea out of a cute mug. They're really small things, but it enhances my day. So yeah, I just wanted to share them. Oh yeah, I need to show you the CD player that I bought. Okay, so I think this is the best secondhand purchase that I've made recently, and it's this CD player. Yeah, it's got a handle so I can carry it to any room in the house. Had it in the bathroom when I was dyeing my hair, have it in the kitchen when I'm cooking. It's amazing. Just reminds me of being a child again when I had a little CD player in my room. It's got all the buttons you would expect, you know, plus one or two that I will never touch. What's in it at the minute, actually? Oh, of course, Isengard. It's got a kind of like fuzzy old quality that I don't think you can beat with proper speakers. Sorry if this bit of the vlog's been a wee bit random, but I'm finding that focusing on these little things is making me really happy at the minute. Sometimes it's just the smallest, simplest things that can give me a wee boost again, so I thought I would share them. Sorry, I have to put my t-shirt on because it's starting to feel a little bit chilly. Yeah, anyway, I thought I would go down to the water. It was quite the rocks here, it's so briny. Splashing. Nobody really knows about this spot. I'm definitely going to have my summer swims here. Anyone want to come swimming here with me? Heading back now, because the castle sits atop a gorge and that nice little beachy bit with the good view of the castle is right down at the bottom. I need to climb down into the gorge, so it's a little bit of a steep slide down and a steep climb back, but I thought I would take you with me just to show you some of the scenery. Yeah, as I said, last night, well, yesterday was Beltane, so I think you're meant to probably do your Beltane ritual on the last day of April technically, but me and Angel did ours last night. We just went down to the river and yeah, we had quite a strange experience actually, kind of uncanny in a cool way. So I had a candle and I said, okay, I'm going to open a circle, and the plan wasn't to ask for anything or do a spell as such. I just wanted to give thanks to nature and appreciate nature. And so I had said about opening a circle, and I said, and if there are any spirits of nature that want to join us, you're welcome. And as I said that, a massive salmon leaped out of the water. And he was listening to us. So I get out of breath and just climbing up this steep rocky bit. Yeah, I should probably actually turn the camera off so I won't fall. Okay, so then we sat with the candle for a little bit and just sat by the river chatting, and it started to rain and it was a bit windy as well, so it kept almost blowing the candle out. So we're like, okay, that's a sign maybe we've sat here for long enough. And so I was getting ready to blow out the candle and I said, that's me closing the circle now, and like we said our thanks to who you wanted to thank. And then Angel said, oh, and thanks to the salmon as well. And honestly, as she said that, another salmon flicked its tail. Yeah, I just felt the hairs stand up on the back of my neck. It felt like something was definitely listening to us. And then another uncanny thing, as we were walking home, we walked through the town, because I live in the town, and we reached the antique shop, and Angel's like, oh my god, look in the window, and there was this massive wooden cutout, like it was huge, of a salmon. And like obviously it must have been there all day, but I hadn't noticed it until that moment. And we just felt, okay, salmon, and I don't know if you know, but in Celtic mythology the salmon is known as the salmon of knowledge. So I felt, okay, this is just a sign to trust in these little rituals. And if I don't believe in myself, I certainly believe in the power of nature, and that there is something out there with eyes and ears that's watching over us. I'm convinced